Assalamualaikum and a very good morning everyone. Welcome to your number one and favorite youth talk show. My name is Amirah as your host for today, and don't worry about putting your coats away because it seems like the weather here right now is in the perfect combination between the heat and also the wind. So before we proceed any further, let me introduce to you all the three guests that have been decided to be our speakers for today's topic. So the first one in line, Miss Izzati. Glad to meet you, Miss. How are you?
Great to meet you too, Miss Amirah. Actually, it has been a while since I got invited to give a talk for a TV show. I would like to thank you for this honest.
No problem at all. For your information, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Izzati is actually the human resource consultant at the Purple Mango Berhad. And she has been providing expert advice and guidance, and including developing and implementing workplace ethic policies and also practices. So we got to move on to the second sweet test of the day. Miss ASHIQIN, how are you today?
It's nice to meet you too, Miss. Thank you for reaching to me last month and asking for help to help me for this question.
For your information, ladies and gentlemen, Miss ASHIQIN is actually a social media manager in Nexia Enterprise that is responsible for overseeing a company's interaction with the public by implementing social media platforms' content strategies. And last but not least, our one and only gentleman in the house. If you ever heard about the Sweeney, one of the biggest music stores and distributors of musical instruments. So here comes Mr. AIMAN. How are you, Mr.?
Thank you for inviting me, Ms. Amirah. So far, it was quite an hectic monthly schedule for me. But after all, it's still something I love to do as my career. It was lovely to be here.
Thank you, Mr. AIMAN. Anyways, let's back to our main agenda. And ladies and gentlemen, for this morning's topic, I would like to tell you that we are going to discuss and hear from each one of our guests thoughts about the issue of the workplace ethic. So, have you ever come to understand the basic meaning of it before? Or maybe if this is your first time, then you are lucky enough because today we will start on the basic idea about it first to help you to understand discreetly the concept before we moving on to the next part of the show. So, Miss Izzati, we will go easy for this one first. So, can you share a little bit about what is your basic understanding about ethics and how you can relate them with the workplace issue?
Of course, thank you once again, Miss Amirah. So let me start with the basic first, which is what is etiquette. I think everyone knows what is etiquette, right? But during my 5 years in this industry, I have seen that a lot of us didn't know how to apply it correctly in their daily life as a worker. Triggered, right? So, etiquette in general refers to a set of conventional rules that govern social behavior in any society or group. While this can vary greatly across different cultures or contexts, the core idea remains the same. Therefore, workplace etiquette, our main topic in this talk show today, refers to a set of unwritten social norms, code of ethical behavior, and practices that are generally considered polite and professional in a workplace setting. This norm helps to maintain harmony, improve communication, and enhance productivity among colleagues. For me, when it comes to working in an office or other professional settings, workplace etiquette really matters. And master workplace isn't just about being polite. It's like you are conducting a finely tuned orchestra of professionalism where every note that you play will enhance not only your own career but also uplift the morale of your co-workers. So whether you are a cubicle dweller or a corner office executive, a little bit of workplace etiquette can go a long way in creating a positive and productive workplace environment. And that's why it is essential for everyone in the workplace to practice good etiquette in their daily life. That's it for now. Thank you. Alright, thank you, Ms. Izzati. So what I can get from you just now is that workplace ethics does bring enough productivity and also the positivity into the frame. So can you imagine one day you come to your office or maybe any workplace that you go and all you can see is someone or maybe everyone is having a grumpiness or maybe having a bitterness in their face and it displays not
one day, but it displayed every day. So can you handle it every day? So of course not, right? So we got to move on to Miss Ashley now. Miss, would you like to share some example of workplace ethics that should and shouldn't be applied in the workplace?
Yes, workplace etiquette is essential for maintaining a positive and productive work environment, like Ms. Izzati said. Here's an example from me. The first is to be on time whether you are attending a meeting or an appointment with the clients. You need to make sure that you are punctual to show that you respect everybody's schedule and you are somebody who's serious about work. We as a worker should arrive 5 to 10 minutes in advance to prepare all the things. Second example, always greet everyone when you walk into the area of your workplace. It can show that you are respectful to everyone around you, not just your friends but all your colleagues. So you can use polite language and avoid making offensive jokes to them. The third point is to always be willing to assist co-worker. If a co-worker approach you to seek help, you should say yes as long as you believe that you can help them so that you can be a help.
And next is workplace etiquette should not be implemented. 1. Don't talk bad about your co-workers and avoid gossip. You know, office gossip between co-workers reflect unprofessional behavior and it's not good for the work environment, like a toxic environment.
Second, don't take credits for others' work. By claiming ownership of ideas or projects that belong to college, it can ruin their trust and can lead to resentment.
Last but not least, etiquette that you should not do is don't argue with your supervisor or manager. Even if the age gap is small, you should never speak back to them and don't talk rudely.
Thank you, Ms. ASHIQIN, for the nice information. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're wondering, all of the example that Ms. ASHIQIN have said just now is like our routine every day in the workplace, right? So, for sure, it brings a lot of impacts and effects, not to ourselves, but also to other people as well. So, Ms. AIMAN, what can you say about the effect of it then?
Talking about poor or bad workplace etiquette, such as maybe rude behavior, lack of respect, or maybe what Ms. Ashkin just said, maybe gossiping. This can create a toxic workplace environment. Thus, lead to decreased morale among employees. Most of the time, when individuals feel disrespected or undervalued, they are less likely to be motivated and engaged in their work. This kind of situation will lead to a consequence where employees will not give their 100% at work, which is because of how the productivity of employees is reduced. I think all of this can be happening in a workplace that doesn't practice etiquette. And moreover, I think workplace known for its lack of etiquette may develop a negative reputation, not just internally, but both internally and externally. This can deter potential employees from wanting to work there and may also harm the organization's reputation with clients, customers, or maybe partners. This also can lead to a higher turnover rates as employees become disengaged or seek opportunities elsewhere. All of us may heard that most of the time there is a new staff member that wants to quit their jobs after just a couple of months, a week. This can be costly, because I think for the organization in terms of recruiting and training new staff, as well as lost institutional knowledge and expertise. That is some of the effects of not practicing good etiquette in the workplace.
Alright, thank you, Ms. Aiman. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're all wondering, all of the effects that Ms. Aiman have shown or have said before, it looks like it brings not only the small impacts but big impacts not for the company but also for the individuals in the company as well. So you have come to understand the meaning of it, which is the workplace ethic. So we're gonna move on to the next section of this talk show. So let's go.
There are lots of ways to communicate. It's how we share ideas and convey messages so that we can get things done.
And to succeed in the workplace, you need to understand and be able to use specific types of workplace communication.
Communication in the workplace is usually quite formal. You need to be clear and respectful when you are dealing with your colleagues and customers. And it's important to use the right kind of communication for the place where you are working. There are lots of different kinds of workplaces, and some require you to be very formal and use professional language, but other workplaces are maybe more relaxed.
You need to remember this when you are at work. You will communicate verbally in person and on the phone or via Zoom. So, be clear and try not to waffle. Listen as much as you talk and pay attention to the person you are speaking to. You will also need to write emails, letters, reports, quotes, and contracts. So, work on your spelling and grammar, because errors at work can make you look unprofessional.
If you like to work on your communication skills, then there are few things you can do. One of them is to learn how to listen. This means you need to read body language and be aware of your own and leave space for others to have this. Next, practice when you can. Make sure your emails are professional. Create a signature block and check your spelling before you press send.
Welcome back everyone, glad to see you again. So without further ado, I would like to proceed to the next part of our talk show today regarding our guests' real life experiences that can be related to the issue of the workplace ethic. So Mr. Aiman, how about you start first for this one? Did you ever feel so mistreated or maybe you once faced this type of issue before?
From my experience of as a PR professional, I must say that we have to deal with a lot of people with different backgrounds and also attitudes. And it is like our daily routine. For me, you just need to maintain professionalism and control your emotions, especially when you're dealing with colleagues and maybe clients, perhaps. Also, there are some keys to be good PR. You need to have honesty, truthfulness, and also transparency. Without all of that, you will leave bad reputations, not just for yourself, but also for the company's image. There are some people who forget that it is very important in maintaining transparency between the company and clients. There are a lot of situations where I think employees fail to disclose conflicts of interest, and maybe there's some sort of hidden agendas. This kind of bad etiquette is a PR, I must say, in a workplace can undermine credibility and lead to accusations of manipulation and unethical behavior.
Oh yeah, don't get me started on talking about employees that are willing to sacrifice their ethics to fulfill their own interests, especially on getting side money, promotions, and many more. There are quite a few situations that I have experienced regarding poor etiquette in a workplace.
How about you, Mrs. Zati? We all know that you have been in this industry for a really long time. Did you ever experience some kind of trouble in handling this kind of issues?
Okay, now where do I even start with this one? Okay, picture this. We are all gathered around the conference table, ready to tackle our meeting. The agenda is set, the mood is semi-enthusiastic, the typical office stuff, you know. But then enters Steve, our resident comedian, or at least he thought he was. But every single time, without fail, just as we are getting into the nitty-gritty of a crucial project update, Steve decides it's the perfect moment for his stand-up routine. He cracks a joke, usually a cringe-worthy one, and then proceeds to launch into a tangent about his weekend adventure with his pet iguana. Yes, you heard that right, an iguana.
Now, don't get me wrong, I do appreciate a good laugh, but when you are trying to meet deadlines and stay on track, this interruption will more like speed bump in a Formula 1 race. It is jarring, unnecessary, and totally disruptive. So, picture us again, a group of professionals desperately trying to keep up with a straight face while internally screaming, "Please, Steve, not today," until it got to the point where we have a side bet going on how long will it take for Steve to hijack the meeting this time.
In this case, as a human resource consultant, I brought up the issues privately with Steve, highlighting how his behavior affecting our team productivity. And you know what? He actually apologized and promised to save his committee just for himself. What a relief.
For me, making mistake is a natural part of life, but what really matters is how we respond to our mistake. Once we admit to our mistake and take time to figure out what went wrong, that's when the real magic happens. So I hope everyone out there can be like our dear Steve. Thank you.
Alright, thank you so much, IZZATI. What a memorable experience, by the way. And speaking of inconvenience that could have occurred in the workplace due to the lack of ethics, I found out that patience and also the straightforwardness do really work sometimes to solve this matter. Because you actually can expect someone to know and realize by themselves what they did wrong to you or maybe other people. And just tell them and explain the things that are bothering you so that immediate action can be taken for them by them to fix it. And how about you, Ms. ASHIQIN? Do you have any story to tell us about your experience in dealing with the issue of ethics in the workplace?
You guys know, right? Nowadays, content is very important in marketing our brand to the public. Because of that, our content creators used to overdo content which can take its own life. If you know, netizen calls it marketing menyawa. For me, as a social media manager, I don't like their dangerous content because I don't think it's necessary to put yourself in harm's way for the sake of brand marketing. And I believe the fortune is vast if we try to sell our brand with persistence and sincerity. Other than that, I found that some team members use company social media accounts for personal purpose, such as like comment and share the unrelated content. I don't know if they log in by mistake or if they were confused with the account they had. But I emphasize for them to separate personal and professional accounts by using different devices so that they are not confused again in the future.
Thank you, Ms. ASHIQIN, for the experience that you have shared with us. So, ladies and gentlemen, all of the experience that we have heard from the three of our guests today, what I can conclude is that all of us have different problems and issues we have been tackled in the workplace environment. So, we must act bravely and also with patience for the main point, so that all of the problems can be solved privately, just like in the Steve case in Miss IZZATI story. So after that, we can continue and create a better environment so we can work together with a very long time. So at the same time, we also can produce a very positive and productive workplace environment in our own workplace. So, alright everyone, we have come to the end of our talk show. And I would like to extend my gratitude first to all our guests that have been decided to be our panelists for today. And not to forget our audiences out there who are waiting to spend their time to be with us today. So until next time, thank you and thanks.